Hey guys, number one Marmaduke fan here. I'm finally going to a new comic book shop. I'm actually going to two. One specializes in old comic books, and they get like 5 new issues in, and that's okay. They're like mainly an antique toy place. And I'm going to kind of a regular comic book shop to get some new issues. So now that I'm like finally like full-time employed and going to a comic book shop again, my room is almost clean, but my bed isn't made. I gotta add make my bed to my clean my room stuff. But basically the point is, since I've just about cleaned my room, I've got full-time job, I'm gonna be buying more comic books again. I haven't done a new comic book day, a hashtag move the needle video in a while. And I actually think that's really important because it kind of shows you maybe the logic of why am I buying what I'm buying even before I read it. After I read it, then I critique it. I say if it was good or bad, if I'm happy with my purchase. But the reason I buy something before I've read it is almost as important. Plus, this kind of illustrates what will it take for you to start getting into comics. And kind of 100%, I am you got to read manga and you got to read Western comics guy. I don't see any reason to deprive yourself of the other one if you like one of them. So obviously library books, right? Because they're free. Yeah, they're free. And if they're missing one at the library, do a request. Maybe one of the biggest things I learned is don't be OCD and skip reading it just because it's incomplete. You will probably be able to understand a lot, even if there are volumes missing. Do a special request, try to find the missing volume, but that's kind of like the backbone of it. One strategy for my channel is I'm going to try to buy a few books by artists who I know are really important, who I really respect, and basically get a nice edition of the book because I want to keep it forever. And I'm starting with Kentaro Miura's Berzerk. Please finish this before you die, Kentaro. But my reason for buying it is I saw the 90s anime. I was really, really impressed by the characters. Every pic I've seen of his art, you can even see it here, like he's a detail person. People say that, you know, the first volume isn't as good as his later volumes, but even in the first volume, he's showing like his real high artistic ambitions for this series. I've heard it's really dark and gut-wrenching, more so than the anime, so I'm kind of mentally preparing myself for that. But there are, when I say like Shakespearean style characters, I mean it. I've never seen a popular media that has kind of like this sort of depth on the like the ideas of character and destiny. So I'll probably gradually be reviewing that. What is the Grand Comics? What is the deal with Grand Comics? I saw his videos talking about Berzerk, making it like a reading club, and then he did like this weird tour of Europe thing where it sounded like he was homeless. I love you, Grand Comics, but I never know when you're joking or not. But Grand Comics has a great video called like Berzerk Readers Book Club. I'll probably do my own take on that. I always buy the little 25-cent, preview things because I just think that's really cool. Bone, I'm getting this at the old comic book shop. And Bone is a kind of a book like Kentaro Miura, where I have such respect for what the artist is doing. I kind of want to own this little piece of comic book history. I've obviously read the graphic novel versions over and over and over again. The fact that he is kind of bringing a Walt Kelly and Bill Watterson inspired cartoon characters into a epic J.R.R. Tolkien-sized universe, it's beautiful. And I actually think it'd be fun to see what it looked like in comic book format, because when they're in graphic novel format, I just read it. I think it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how he maybe divides up the action for issues. I'm also going to start bringing a little bit more Star Wars back into this channel, but old school Legends era Star Wars. I've reviewed the first issue of this so far. I bought these based on the strength of the first issue, so I hope I like it. These I'll decide to keep or not based on the total effect and how good they are. So for regular comics at the new comic book shop, it's basically I got one of everything from Marvel True Believers, like the $1 preview books they do, just because that's a really, really good deal, and I want to support that. So if you are wondering how do I get into comics, I think the worst way is to try to like start at issue 1 at something and read everything, especially if you're not sure if you're interested in the character. But the $1 are great because you get a little highlight reel and you can decide to come back later and check out more of that if you really, really like what they're doing. They also I like that they did a Mysterio one for the first appearance of the character right around when he was going to be in a movie. Smart, Marvel, smart. And in addition to that, I'm paying full price for X-Men Grand Design by Ed Piskor. 100% if you're a person who is interested in X-Men, you're interested in Marvel Comics, but you don't know where to start, if you're okay with spoilers, buy and read X-Men Grand Design by Ed Piskor. I just talked to the comic book shop guy today, and he mentioned that Piskor is going to be doing Fantastic Four Grand Design, so you know that I'm just praying that Spider-Man Grand Design is down the pipeline. But this is exactly what comics needs. We need entry books where if you're confused by the characters and the history of the characters, I want there to be more than just Wikipedia articles for people. I want there to be comics that people can read to get them caught up, and that's basically the service that Ed Piskor is providing for Marvel Comics for the future. So cannot wait. Everything else in the pile. Well, actually, there were a few like regular $1 comics mixed in with the like $1 True Believers. I think they were the ones that, you know, they never sell, that they've just had back issues from forever. So basically my point is, there's a way to get into comics pretty much on the cheap. So yeah, I got a big pile of them because I haven't been in a comic book shop for a while, and I wanted to catch up, get some good materials for the channel. But you have the option to get lots of, I love Dollar Bin Reviews. Check out Dollar Bin Reviews channel, because that's basically his whole theme is comics that cost $1. You can find some great stuff. Go to your library and try to read everything at your library for free. You will not break the bank. And then for the few sort of magical things like Bone or Berzerk, what speaks to you, hope I didn't do a face reveal there, then you want to invest in like a nice edition of those that you'll keep and treasure forever. And that's it. That's the point. So kind of, I hope by zooming out, I've kind of shown you what my logic is for why I buy comics, give you a glimpse of what might be coming to the channel in the future. So many potential tangents, so many. Move the needle and show your receipts. I'm #1 Marmaduke fan. I love you guys. If you buy some comic books, tweet me at NO1 Marmaduke fan and use the hashtag Move the Needle. I love that hashtag. I'd love to see what you get. Thanks to my supporters on Subscribestar. I will catch you later.